Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hello, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we're discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 6, Episode 15, Honor Among Thieves. O'Brien goes deep undercover in the Orion Syndicate and ends up befriending his target.
So I have a question.
Oh, okay.
Why did O'Brien have this assignment? Why was it him?
Because this episode is badly written.
Okay.
Before we get on to that, what did you think overall?
It's a really tired story, and they didn't do much with it. There's nothing sci-fi about it, and we don't get to learn anything new about O'Brien. And then he takes a turn at the end that I thought was strange. So it's okay. I do like the ending a lot, how parts of the ending, that this guy finds out he's going to die and then he has to do it anyway, and O'Brien is unable to save him.
I think that was the point of the episode. I think it was an attempt at a O'Brien must suffer episode, but I don't think he suffered that much.
No, not really.
He had to betray someone who was apparently a crook anyway, and kind of had it coming.
It's the life he chose.
It is the way of things. O'Brien didn't pull the trigger. He did everything he could to save him, and the guy still died anyway, so I don't know. He seems really upset about it, but I had trouble sympathizing.
So did I, and I couldn't handle it when he punched that dude. It seemed ridiculous that he was that involved, that he would punch this guy after what seemed like just a few days. How long was this assignment?
A few weeks.
Okay.
Or at least he said that O'Brien had been hanging around in the bar for a few weeks.
Oh, yeah, but that's not time he used to develop a friendship with this guy, with Bilby.
No, the latter part was, I don't know, a week or two maybe, who knows. It's kind of wishy-washy.
I think I would have liked it more if he didn't sock that guy. If he simply said, "Oh, let me go gather my things," and then went to Bilby instead. Something like that.
It's not beyond O'Brien to shirk the chain of command when his moral compass points a different direction.
Sure, but that description and being willing to sucker punch a guy, it's kind of reaching.
Yeah, that guy is his lifeline. I think it would make sense if we really cared about O'Brien not having supposed blood on his hands, but if you don't care about that, yeah, it seems really out of place that he's so perturbed by what's going on.
When the guy tells O'Brien what will happen, I thought, oh, good, that's that. O'Brien can go home and nothing's wrong. He didn't quite see it that way.
That is logical, though, because earlier on he says, oh, I can't wait to go home. This will be great. As soon as I can, I'm going home, no matter what.
Maybe that's why I thought that, because that earlier line was echoing in my mind. It's clear he wants to leave and be done with this assignment, and then he has an out, and it seems fair.
The whole pacing in this episode and the premise is weak. The idea is good. It's definitely one as I was watching it, I was rewriting it in my head. The concept that O'Brien has to do something simple for Starfleet intelligence and gets dragged deeper and deeper undercover until he's just in a world of trouble, that's good because then he really would be suffering.
That is a great idea that they didn't really capitalize on here.
There's so many ways they could have made this episode better. For example, if when Bilby says, "Oh, we got a guy in Starfleet," and O'Brien's like, "Oh yeah, who's that?" And he's like, some dude called Chadwick. Like,
that's what I thought was going to happen.
Oh god, that's my guy.
Yeah.
I'm screwed.
A crazy complication, but no, they didn't even do anything with that. There's a guy in Starfleet. I guess they could use that later, but it really felt like they were setting up something in this episode, bringing that up.
Or maybe all of his team would get killed off and it's just him left. He has to become a criminal, just something that would actually push him into his discomfort zone. I think previous O'Brien-centric episodes have set the bar quite high.
There's not a lot for O'Brien to do here.
He fixed some things well beyond his supposed capability.
That should have set off alarm bells that he was fixing these things and then, I stole the very hard to get parts. Well, it did.
Yeah.
The guy suspected.
Well, because Bilby used that as a reason to trust him. Oh, you're a washed-up, drunk fix-it man. We gave you something and you did a really well beyond expectations job of it. Therefore,
basically,
you're trustworthy.
Impossible job.
And then you sourced impossible parts. Where do you get them? Off the back of a truck? Oh, you're legit.
Story checks out.
I expected the guy to say, "What warehouse? Where is it?" Okay. Just look that up on the internet.
I expected him to say that when he said he was dating a florist.
What, that he stole it from a warehouse?
Well, no. Where is this place? What are you talking about? Why would this dump of an area need floral arrangements?
He had the perfect opportunity. Like, Bilby says, "Don't tell me you don't like girls." He should have been like, "Yeah, 100% gay, sorry."
But then what if Bilby came on to him?
Well, he could have said he's not his type.
Too old.
Way too old.
In the beginning, when he first meets Bilby and he takes him back to his place and he speaks very candidly about his family and his life, I thought that was all going to be a lie just to try to make O'Brien more vulnerable so he would reciprocate and tell Bilby about his life. But no, he's a clumsy mob man who tells anyone anything.
He repeatedly talks about his family, so that he has a family. By the way, he has a family.
And he thinks you should have a family.
It's the most important thing. For example, if he died, it would be really sad because he has a family.
His family will be sad that it is less family-like of a family.
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 I guess what we're trying to say is Bilby was a one-trick pony.
A one family horse. Yeah.
Okay, right, enough.
I couldn't.
There's so much potential in this episode. It's kind of sad that it just never really ignites. Okay, at the start, why were those guys stealing sandwiches?
For fun.
Oh, we are the mafia. We will steal some sandwiches.
You do not know about the sandwich ring.
Oh, they're so bad. They're so bad that they steal their lunch. They don't just pay for it because organized crime is very lucrative. Instead, they commit needlessly minor crimes.
They're basically schoolyard bullies.
Well, they act like that, and then later on they rob the Bank of Boleus, which is a bit like Geometry Wars. If it were that easy to hack into the bank, then, well, A, why didn't they do that already to buy the sandwiches? And B, why isn't the bank just constantly being robbed? 2 guys and an ATM is all you need.
Oh, well, you need O'Brien. He's the secret sauce. We saw what happens when you remove him from Deep Space Nine.
Yeah, we've always said Deep Space Nine would fall apart within hours of O'Brien leaving. Now it's canon.
It made me laugh because we have joked about that, and then, oh, that's really what happens. It's funny that the writers acknowledge how that is what would happen, that he is super vital and irreplaceable.
Which, therefore, why would they send him on this mission? But
Yeah.
The line from Worf cracked me up.
Major, there is something wrong with the turbo lift.
The way they structure this show, when we see O'Brien fixing things and checking out things, it makes sense that this place wouldn't work without him because he's doing everything all the time.
It's cheaper to just write in the script that he did it all himself than it is to hire actors to portray a team that work under him. They've tried both methods, and I guess they've just settled on the one that has the least effort. Oh yeah, it's all O'Brien. He just does literally everything.
I do like what Dax points out, that he's an expert in balancing Federation and Cardassian tech.
Yes, they actually had a good justification for why they used this cheap out excuse. So it wasn't really a cheap out excuse at all. Good job. I would like to compliment some of the callbacks to previous episodes.
I hope you're not about to bring up Handleface.
There was another handle face. It wasn't quite the same, but still, he had a handle face.
Made me so angry.
Yeah,
I was so happy when he dies.
They just shoot him in the middle of a bar because casual murder is definitely the way to do organized crime.
In a public space.
Yeah, where they frequent. They're the only guys in the bar all the time. Not just Handleface, the hacker guy Crawl looked like the same species as the president of the Federation, Jarashinyo. Although not quite, he didn't have the spaghetti duct. But it was similar, and the Vorta was the one from the previous episode.
Okay, I was going to ask you about him. I wasn't sure. There was another callback. Lightning and thunder happened at the same time.
Now, we don't know that was lightning. We don't know what that planet's weather system is like.
Oh, fine.
Could be a plasma storm, because that's a real thing.
It did sound different.
Yeah, that's the only reason I brought it up, is because it wasn't quite the right sound for lightning and thunder. But still, they should stop doing that. Speaking of thunder and lightning happening at the same time, there was a callback to a previous episode that we all should have forgotten.
I don't know which one.
Then you have forgotten. Congratulations. It says the inside man in Starfleet was vacationing on Risa.
Oh God, yeah, I did pick up on that.
So that was them in Let He Who Is Without Sin. Because they specifically referenced they paid the guy to make it stop raining. But it doesn't rain on Risa. Apart from that one time when Worf took control of the weather system.
Yep.
So the inside man is Worf. That's all I could take from that.
Wait, it doesn't rain there? I thought it rains there all the time, and then machinery.
Yeah, the machinery stops it, yeah.
Okay.
But he says the guy paid him off to stop the rain or something.
Oh. Okay,
So
that doesn't make sense then.
it must be Worf or maybe Dax or someone. Because they were the only Starfleet dudes there. Oh, well, there was probably other Starfleet dudes in the background.
Of all the episodes to remind us of, why choose that one?
They like to remind you of the bad episodes because you don't need to be reminded about the good ones.
That's true. I'll bring up Duet whenever I can. Like right now. There's a part in this episode that was very unintentionally funny to me. So it's been revealed to us that the Vorta have poor eyesight. And this Vorta examines these people with looking into their eyes. But I don't know how well he could see, but I'm imagining him looking at these indistinct blurbs of color and just pretending that he could see them and examine them for show.
I think they might be really nearsighted because Wayun has, in the episode To the Death, it must have been Wayun 4, said to Odo that he's... Oh, maybe it wasn't to Odo. He said it to someone that he was lying. He could spot a liar very easily. Which makes me think they might be very short-sighted, good at person-to-person reading expressions and stuff.
Okay. That's not as funny.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's just sort of like... I think it was the sort of brownish pink blob. What would you do to fix this episode?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well, I'll tell you what I would do.
Okay.
Ask a leading question. I would have it all told in flashback. Because
Okay.
I got a reason for this. One of the bad things about the episode is it doesn't feel like much time has passed.
Yes.
You just, oh, he's there 2 days later. Oh, they're all going to die. Okay, well, whatever. Who cares?
That is the biggest problem.
With flashback, I probably wouldn't make it narrated, but just flashback, you can blur the lines of how much time is taken up. I probably wouldn't make O'Brien have to work his way into the syndicate. They should have a guy in the syndicate already who could vouch for him. And then some other guy could vouch for him on behalf or something. You know, you get passed from person to person.
Okay.
And he should already be an ace engineer. It's just unbelievable that they'd ever think, oh, yeah, this random dude off the street is like an A++ grade engineer. So I'd probably make it about a heist or something. I mean, the Dominion could still be behind it. Assassination could work well, but it could have some sort of breaking and entering element where they'd need an expert engineer who they would pull from somewhere else in the syndicate, but it's O'Brien.
That would already solve a lot of problems I have with this episode. But it fixes why O'Brien is doing this and not someone else. It fixes the time, how he shouldn't lose perspective and be so invested in this relationship within what feels like a few days or maybe a week. So it would stretch that out. And then he would feel worse about losing Starfleet people, the connection that's already in there, more than just this random criminal dude.
Okay, it could start with a gunfight with the Klingons. O'Brien, Bilby, and co blasting away at the Klingons. Okay, so you got that, and then one of them gets gunned down, and O'Brien's like, oh no, he's dead. And then you cut back to a flashback of him doing stuff, build up the plot that way, as each of them get gunned down in turn.
Ooh, that's a nice gimmick.
And then when it's just O'Brien left, the Klingons are like, "Oh, no, you're the double agent, aren't you? You can go home now." Yeah, his Chadwick needed to die, though. He needed to die.
He did.
O'Brien needed to lose his lifeline because O'Brien's so resourceful. He's Mr. Resourceful. He can get out of anything. So unless you chuck him in the water without I don't know what those ring things are called, but you know what I mean.
Lifesaver?
Yeah, you're gonna chuck him in the water without a lifesaver or a raft or anything, just right in the water and sail the ship away and leave him there. Otherwise, it's too easy. We've seen him get through so much stuff that it's got to be difficult. He plays on expert mode.
That's another big problem with this episode. Nothing feels insurmountable. It all just happens. And even the end, he tries to make it harder for himself by punching this guy and telling Bilby what's up, but then it still doesn't complicate things much for O'Brien. It does for Bilby, but we don't care about Bilby.
No, we've seen O'Brien go 1v everyone on Deep Space Nine more than once and come out on top.
Something terrible had to happen to up the tension.
So yeah, I would have told it in flashbacks, he would have got deeper and deeper involved. He would have lost his lifeline and had to go through with a thing. An assassination attempt on the Klingons would have been a fine thing to do. And as his comrades are dying, he's left alone and pulled out at the last second when he thinks he's actually going to die alone and as a criminal.
And he mutters to himself, "Family's the most important thing."
No, he doesn't. No one has families. Why did that guy not just live with his family? Organized crime doesn't work like this. It's not.
Family is so important. That's why I abandon them and I never see them.
All I have is this one picture.
This isn't even them. It's the picture that came with the frame.
Exactly what I was going to say.
I couldn't afford a picture of them, so I just bought this. It's close enough.
Oh, jeez. One thing that annoys me is the cat ate all of its food in one go. But cats don't do that. They never eat more than 50% of their food.
I was happy that we saw a cat. Some nice visual variety in this episode. New setting, new characters, new clothing, new aliens, a cat.
Well, there's plenty of cats on Next Gen. Because Data has a cat.
I wasn't aware.
Do you have some criminal words of wisdom from the show? Please let it not be about family.
2 seconds.
Are you looking up one that's not family is the most important thing?
No, I didn't have anything. Everyone has their price.
Yep.
You think that's true?
In what sense?
I didn't think of it that way. I was thinking strictly monetary compensation. I don't think O'Brien could be bought, but maybe.
But in what context? Like as double agent?
I don't know.
Well, the Federation is a post-capitalist society. They don't have money. So I suspect they don't actually have a price now that I think about it.
That's kind of what stuck out to me. It's O'Brien saying it. But he's trying to pass off as this other person, not as a Starfleet ambassador.
Wait, but he was saying that about they bought off someone in Starfleet.
Oh, yeah.
With money that they don't need.
Here. This Latinum that you have no use for?
Have a load of money. Oh, great. Now I'll have to clean out my locker so I can fit all this money in there. I think in general, though, if you add enough zeros onto something, Most people will do things that they wouldn't normally do, to an extent. There are
There's
lines
a limit, though.
Yeah, there are lines people will not cross. Everything else is just bartering about the price.
External motivations can only go so far. They can get O'Brien to do these stupid missions that he shouldn't be on because they stir inside him the identity of being a Starfleet man and honor, and this is for the good of humanity. All that's coming from within him. It's not external. He's not being bought.
Yeah, he did all this for a laugh. They didn't even need to send O'Brien. They could have just sent a random dude.
Rom.
He would do a lot better than O'Brien, I think. Rom's good in a pinch.
This episode would be better as a Ferengi comedy episode.
No, I can't believe you said that. That's it. We're ending this podcast. Let's go on to the next episode.
We've gone on too long. I've become delirious.
That's true. It ends now.